2020 జేఈఈ మెయిన్ ఫలితాలలో ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ విద్యార్థుల ప్రభంజనం. ఆల్ ఇండియా అన్ని కేటగిరీస్లు 18, 35, 251, 253, 582, 606, 778, 780, 812, 821, 1031, 1039, 1303, 1575, 1654, 1753, 1754, 1978 ర్యాంకులే కాక మరెన్నో ఉత్తమ ఫలితాలు సాధించిన విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్. ఈ ఫలితాలు సాధించడానికి కారణమైన లెక్చరర్లు మరియు తల్లిదండ్రులకు మా కృతజ్ఞతలు. ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్.
Good morning. So let us continue with chemical equilibrium. So today's topic is calculation of degree of dissociation. So let us consider an electrolyte A to the subscript N. So we are considering a general electrolyte AN. Say it is undergoing dissociation. AN dissociates into Na. What is the meaning of this? If I take 1 mole of AN, and if it dissociates completely, you get N moles of A. 1 mole of AN on complete dissociation gives N moles of A. So at time t equal to 0, let us assume that we have taken 1 mole. Say that dissociation has not started. This is stoichiometric mole ratio. So stoichiometric mole ratio 1:n. At time t equal to 0, let us assume that we have taken 1 mole. The dissociation is not started. In a container, we are taking 1 mole of AN. 1 mole of AN. Right? So the reaction has not started. So the amount of the products formed is 0. Say you have heated దీన్ని వేడి చేశారు at some temperature T and the dissociation has started. So how many moles are dissociated? Number of moles reacted or number of moles dissociated? Let us assume alpha. Out of 1 mole, alpha moles are dissociated. They are not present, so I am writing dash. After alpha moles are dissociated, let us assume the system has attained equilibrium. Let us assume the system has attained equilibrium. At equilibrium, the number of moles, the concentration, temperature, pressure, color, order, all the physical properties do not change, so they remain constant. So out of 1 mole, alpha moles are dissociated. After the dissociation of alpha moles, let us imagine the system has attained equilibrium. So at equilibrium, out of 1 moles alpha are dissociated, how many will be left over? 1 minus alpha. How many moles of AN are left over? 1 minus alpha moles are left over. How many moles of Na will be present? If 1 mole dissociates completely, you will get N. For 1 mole, you will get N. For alpha, how much? For 1 mole, you will get N. For alpha, how much? So, how much you will get? N alpha. This is the number of moles of Na that is present at equilibrium. Then find total moles at equilibrium. Total moles at equilibrium. 1 minus alpha moles of AN plus N alpha. So this is nothing but Van 't Hoff factor. So actually this you will study in second year. Van 't Hoff factor. This is equal to I total moles at equilibrium by initial moles. So I equal to Van 't Hoff factor I total moles at equilibrium. How many we got? 1 minus alpha plus N alpha. Initial moles how many? 1. So I equal to 1 plus alpha into N minus 1. This is Van 't Hoff factor, or from the same equation alpha equal to I minus 1 by n minus 1. So what are these alpha I? So I is called Van 't Hoff factor. The exact meaning we will study in second year, but we don't require exactly I value here. We use alpha, so nothing to worry about I. N, what is N? N represents number of particles that are produced when 1 mole of electrolyte dissociates completely, when 1 mole of reactant dissociates completely. N represents a number of particles that can be obtained when 1 mole of reactant dissociates completely. So N represents what? Number of particles or molecules. Particles can be molecules, ions, etc. So number of particles that can be obtained when one reactant, when one mole dissociates completely. Remember, completely. So I will try to explain the meaning of N, alpha, I, etc. Before that, the use of I is actually I is defined as capital D by small d. What is capital D? Theoretical vapor density. It is called as theoretical vapor density. It is the ratio of these two. Small d is observed vapor density. Theoretical vapor density can be calculated by this formula, molecular weight by 2, whereas observed vapor density will be given or will be asked to find, because it should be determined while doing the experiment. Now, I equal to capital D by small d equal to MC by M naught. MC means calculated molecular weight MO, observed molecular weight. So alpha equals to I minus 1 by n minus 1. I plus 2, what I can write? Capital D by small d minus 1 by n minus 1, which is equal to d minus d by d into n minus 1. Or instead of this, I can write MC by M naught. MC by M naught So let us apply these equations for some examples to understand. Our aim is to find alpha. How to find alpha? I minus 1 by n minus 1. I will not be given directly, because that you will study in second year. How to find I? Capital D by small d or MC by M naught. Come back to this. To find I, you have to use this equation capital D by small d. What is capital D? Theoretical vapor density of the compound. Theoretical vapor density of the compound. What is small d? Observed vapor density of same compound. So when the compound decomposes, before decomposition, after decomposition, its vapor density will change, because the number of moles are changing. Therefore, capital D can be calculated. This is before decomposition. Simply molecular weight of the compound by 2. Molecular weight of the compound by 2 always. D, capital D, that is theoretical vapor density, is simply molecular weight of the compound by 2 before dissociation. Small d within the reaction, so that we cannot calculate until unless we know the composition. So generally they will ask you to find this small d, or they will provide in the problem. So once these two are known, you can find I. Capital D will not be given, remember capital D will not be given. Molecular weight of the compound by 2, that is the formula of capital D, theoretical vapor density. MC, calculated molecular weight, normal molecular weight, sum of the atomic weights of all atoms in a molecule. MO, observed molecular weight. This is while within the experiment, you have to know the composition to find MO, like D, you have to know MO. So let us apply for some examples. So let us take one example, say PCl5 gas decomposes into PCl3 plus Cl2 gas. If 1 mole dissociates completely, you will get 1 mole of PCl3 and 1 mole of Cl2. 1 mole of PCl5 complete ga dissociate aithe final ga em migulutundi 1 mole of PCl3, 1 mole of Cl2. So N, this N, number of particles that can be obtained when 1 mole dissociates completely. 1 mole dissociate aithe manaku 1 mole of PCl3 ochindi plus 1 mole of Cl2. So what is N value for PCl5? That is 2. What is N value for PCl5? 2. So now you know how to find this N value, right? Now let us see I value. I is, capital D is, that is theoretical vapor density, is molecular weight of PCl5 by 2. Molecular weight of PCl5 by 2. What is the molecular weight of PCl5? Sum of the atomic weights. What is the atomic weight of phosphorus? 31. 1 phosphorus, 1 into 31. How many chlorine atoms? 5. Atomic weight of chlorine is 35.5. So this is 31 plus 5 5s are 25, 5 5s are 25 plus 2 27, 5 3s are 15, 16, 17. So 177.5 plus 31, 7 plus 1 8, 0, 2. So this is equal to 208.5, 208.5 by 2. So 104.25. This is capital D. Small d will be given in the problem. So once you know capital D, small d and N value, you can find alpha. That is the purpose, right? So don't worry too much about the exact meaning of I. The exact meaning of I you will study in second year solutions, colligative properties. So this is about N and D. So alpha equal to capital D minus small d by small d into N minus 1. Capital D you know, small d will be given in the problem, N you know, then you can find alpha. In a similar way, let us take one more example. N2O4 on decomposition gives 2 moles of NO2. 1 mole of N2O4 on complete decomposition gives 2 moles of NO2. 1 mole of N2O4 on complete decomposition gives 2 moles of NO2. Right? So what is N value now? Number of particles produced when 1 mole dissociates completely. That is nothing but 2. 1 mole dissociate అయితే మనకు 2 moles వచ్చాయి. సో n equal to 2 for N2O4. Next, capital D. Molecular weight of substance decomposition, that is N2O4, reactant, molecular weight of N2O4. Before reaction ఏముంటుంది మనకి reactant. So molecular weight of N2O4 by 2. Remember, molecular weight equal to 2 into vapor density of a gas. 2 into vapor density of a gas. So vapor density equal to molecular weight by 2. Theoretical vapor density equal to molecular weight by 2. N2O4 molecular weight 2 into 14. 2 into 14 plus 4 into 16. This is 28 plus 64. 8 plus 4, 12. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll get 92. So this is 92 by 2. 4 is 2, 6, 7. So you know n value, d value. If somebody asks you to find alpha, d minus d by d into n minus 1. You know capital D. Small d will be given in the problem. You know n. You can find alpha. So that is the purpose of these equations. In the same way, MC m naught. MC is nothing but the same thing again. 92. M naught will be given. So mostly they will give this equation. You have to use this equation. So this is about degree of dissociation. Let us study degree of association. Dissociation ante one molecule breaks into two or more particles. Association is reverse. Two or more particles associate and exist as one molecule. Once again, dissociation means one molecule breaks into two or more particles. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 2.5, 3.5, etc. like that. Association is reverse. Two or more particles combine and exist as single molecule. So calculation of degree of association. So let us say represent with same sign degree of association alpha. You can use any alphabet. Generally we use alpha. So as I said, association means two or more particles combine and exist as single molecule. So reverse. N molecules of A undergo association and exist as one molecule of AN. What is the meaning of this? N molecules of AN exist as one molecule of AN. Sorry, N molecules of A combine and exist as one molecule of AN. So at time t equal to 0, before the reaction, let us take, we have 1 mole of A, 0 moles because we haven't started the reaction. Number of moles associated, right? Let us say alpha. Out of 1 mole, alpha moles are undergoing association. 1 mole lo alpha moles associate ayinayi. Then at equilibrium, how much will be left over? 1 minus alpha. What about the number of moles of AN? Now come back to this. N molecules associate and exist as one molecule. But we don't have N molecules, we have alpha molecules. So cross multiply. So alpha into 1 by N. So how many will be present here? Alpha by N. Yes, number of particles will decrease because they are associating. So total moles at equilibrium. So what is Van't Hoff factor I? Total moles at equilibrium by initial moles. 1 minus alpha plus alpha by N by 1. 1 by n minus 1. So it carries the same meaning. I is Van't Hoff factor, alpha is degree of dissociation. So n represent number of molecules associating and existing as single molecule. So example, dimerization. What is the meaning of dimerization? Two molecules combine and exist as one molecule. Two molecules combine and exist as one molecule. So n equal to 2. Number of molecules. In dimerization, two molecules associate and exist as single molecule. Example, acetic acid in benzene. So acetic acid CH3 C double bond O OH. CH3, this is one molecule of acetic acid, another molecule. Through hydrogen bonding, they associate and behave like a single molecule, right? Two molecules combine and behave like a single molecule. Similarly, for trimerization, n equal to 3. So you can use same. I equal to capital D by small d, I equal to MC by M naught. You can substitute here also. Alpha equal to I minus 1 by n minus 1, capital D minus small d by small d into 1 by n minus 1. You can use this equation, you can substitute. Effect of temperature on equilibrium. Effect of temperature on equilibrium. So already we have studied that the position of equilibrium and equilibrium constant value changes with the temperature. So that can be explained by Arrhenius equation. K equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. We studied this equation in chemical kinetics in second year. So I am not going to explain this, right, because you require some knowledge of chemical kinetics. But from this equation you will get the final equation which we are going to use here. Imagine that a student is doing a reaction, equilibrium reaction at temperature T1, and he has calculated the equilibrium constant K1. He has calculated the equilibrium constant K1. The same reaction is conducted by same student but at higher temperature, say T2, at another temperature T2. As I said, with change in temperature, K value will change. So let us assume equilibrium constant as K2. So for our understanding, let us assume that temperature changes from T1 to T2 and T2 is greater than T1. So just for our understanding, right? First experiment, temperature is T1, equilibrium constant is K1. Second, same experiment at different temperature and different equilibrium constant. Reaction is same. You are carrying out the reaction at different temperature, and I am assuming that T2 is greater than T1. So the value of equilibrium constant changes from K1 to K2. Right. So from Arrhenius equation, this is the equation log K2 by K1 equals to delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So this is the equation which gives the relation between rate constants and temperature. So from where you got this equation? From Arrhenius equation, right? So K1, K2 are nothing but rate constant. Here they are equilibrium constant. Temperatures T1, T2. We are changing temperature from T1 to T2. So this is experiment 1, experiment 2. Delta H, enthalpy change of reaction, enthalpy change of reaction, right? R is universal gas constant, you know it, universal gas constant. Right. So let us see how it explains the nature of the reaction. Suppose if, remember, for all these assumptions, T2 is greater than T1. If delta H is greater than 0 or positive, enthalpy of that reaction minus enthalpy of this reaction, delta H is greater than 0. What do you mean by delta H greater than 0? That means that the process is endothermic in nature. So process is endothermic. So what happens? Come back to this. Since T2 is greater than T1, T2 minus T1 is positive, T2 minus T1 is positive, this entire thing becomes positive. Delta H is positive, R is anyway positive. So this is also positive, positive into positive. So entire thing becomes positive. If entire thing becomes positive, then K2 should be greater than K1 because it should be positive, right? Once again, if delta H is positive, assuming that we are increasing temperature, that is T2 greater than T1 for that condition. If T2 is greater than T1 for all these assumptions, since T2 is greater than T1, T2 minus T1 is positive. So this entire thing becomes positive. R is positive. Delta H I am assuming positive. So positive into positive is positive. So this thing should be positive. This ratio will be positive provided that K2 is greater than K1. So if delta H is positive, that is for process for endothermic, then K2 should be greater than K1. K2 should be greater than K1. That means the equilibrium constant increases with increase in temperature for endothermic process. That is, the equilibrium constant value increases with increase in temperature for endothermic process. For endothermic process. That means equilibrium constant is directly proportional to T. For endothermic process, equilibrium constant is directly proportional to T. So what is equilibrium constant? So with increase in temperature for endothermic process, the rate constant of forward reaction is more. That means reaction moves more in forward direction and less in backward direction. In endothermic process, with increase in temperature, rate of forward reaction is greater than rate of backward reaction. So Kf is proportional to T, Kb is inversely proportional to T in case of endothermic process. If delta H is less than 0 or negative, if delta H is less than 0 or negative, remember, still we are assuming T2 is greater than T1. Come back to this. T2 greater than T1. This is positive. So this entire thing is positive. This entire thing is positive because T2 is greater than T1 for this also. But delta H is negative. R is anyway positive. Negative by positive, negative. This thing becomes negative. Negative and positive. Negative into positive is negative. So entire thing becomes negative. Entire thing on right hand side becomes negative. So this value should be negative. When it will be negative, if K2 is less than K1. So if delta H is less than 0 or negative, that is process is exothermic. Process is exothermic. Then K2 will be less than K1. That is the equilibrium constant value decreases with increase in temperature, for exothermic process. For exothermic process. That means equilibrium constant is inversely proportional to temperature. So Kf by Kb is inversely proportional to T. So with increase in temperature in exothermic reaction, Kf decreases, Kb increases. So one more we have. Third point, if delta H is 0, that means no heat is absorbed or released. If this is 0, entire thing becomes 0. If entire thing becomes 0, log 1 is 0, that means K2 will be equal to K1. That is equilibrium constant is independent of temperature. అంటే టెంపరేచర్ పెంచినా తగ్గించినా K వాల్యూ చేంజ్ అవ్వదు if delta H is 0. What is the meaning of delta H? No heat is absorbed or no heat is released. So this is just a hypothetical situation. If delta H is 0, then K equilibrium constant value is also independent of temperature. Let us do a problem. Which of the following reaction is an equilibrium? That means in which of the following reaction you can expect an equilibrium. So in order to establish equilibrium, the reaction should proceed in both forward and backward direction simultaneously. So let us try to understand what is happening here. Magnesium reacts with water. Magnesium is active metal. It reacts water instantaneously or on heating to produce magnesium hydroxide. The hydrogen that is produced is a gas. It is a volatile component. It escapes out. It is a volatile component. It escapes out. If it is not closed system, right, which is not mentioned here, if it is not closed system, then hydrogen gas will escape. If this product is not present, then the reaction cannot be reversed. Forget forget about the possibility, but if the product itself is not present, then you cannot think about reversing the reaction. So, assuming that it is not a closed system, then hydrogen gas can escape. Even if it is not closed system, the probability of reaction, reverse reaction is less. The reason is it is exothermic in nature. So, hydrogen gas, how to remember? Hydrogen is a volatile component, it escapes out. So, the reaction cannot be reversed. NaNO3 reacts with K2SO4. This is solid aqueous solution, solid aqueous solution, solid aqueous solution, solid aqueous solution. So, there is no volatile component, it can be reversed. But let us see other options. AgNO3 plus NaCl. AgCl precipitates out. Precipitates means it no longer dissolves in the solution. Once it separates out from the system, that is solution system, right, it cannot be reversed. Here also PbI2 separates out, precipitates out. So, the possibility is option B. This reaction can be reversed. Remember, if one of the product separates out as volatile component, nothing but gas, or insoluble solid, that means precipitation, then the reaction becomes irreversible. The reaction may be irreversible.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.